Hello everyone, this is Tetsuya. Thank you so much for watching my video again today. Today, I would like to introduce 10 things I am surprised at in Singapore. I have already made one video which introduced 8 things I was surprised at in Singapore when I visited Singapore for the first time. This time, I am going to introduce 10 things I have learned after becoming a frequent visitor to Singapore. Let me get started. So the first thing I am surprised at in Singapore is there are roofs to prevent sunshine and rain in so many places in Singapore. This is an old advertisement, but this kind of project certainly shows how much Singaporean government is trying to make their country convenient. The second thing I am surprised at in Singapore is there is a library in a shopping mall. When I saw a library in a shopping mall for the first time, I thought this was a bookstore, but there was no price tags on the books, and there are some scanners in front of the entrance. So I noticed this was a library. I guess not many countries have libraries in a shopping mall, including Japan. It will be a bit long story to explain why libraries are in shopping malls. There is a very important reason for this. But this time, because it will be a long story, let me skip the reason. The third thing I am surprised at in Singapore is HDB. HDB is a grade system. HDB is generally used to indicate this apartment complex. HDB is owned by the Singaporean government. At this apartment complex, impressively, everything necessary for the people's life is there. So in a sense, people even don't have to go out of HDB area, basically. There are shops, food courts, cafes, other shops such as massage shops, elderly people's care center, clinics, and athletic fields, etc. Everything necessary for the people's life is something like completely within HDB. In Japan, in the last decades, this style of apartment is little by little increasing. But as you can see from these HDB buildings, this has already been built a lot of decades ago in Singapore. So I'm pretty much surprised how much the housing system of Singapore is advanced by few decades compared to Japan. So the fourth thing I am surprised at in Singapore is the ratio of ethnic groups of HDB is controlled so that the people of all ethnicities can regularly meet in daily life. The percentage for Chinese people, the percentage of Malay people, the percentage of Indian people, and the percentage of foreigners. Maybe foreigners would also be divided into a few different categories based on maybe continent or something. Anyway, controlling the ratio of different ethnic groups at HDB is quite interesting. The fifth thing I am surprised at in Singapore is there are a lot of events held at HDB so that the residents can socialize with each other and know each other. The events are very attractive, so a number of residents come to the event. It's a very good way to harmonize a society of many different ethnicities, and purely it's a very fun occasion for all of them to join that. This is a drawing I found at HDB. This drawing is clearly showing all ethnicities are having a good and harmonized life together. The sixth thing I'm surprised at in Singapore is Singapore gains about 100,000 immigrants every year, almost since its independence. So in the last few years, or maybe just a decade or two, Singapore is mainly obtaining immigrants from China, focusing on rich Chinese business people. Since the country is small and they have small population, they want immigrants. But in order to secure the safety of the society, they invite rich people who would not commit violent crime and who basically, of course, share the same language, Chinese language, and culture. So the seventh thing I am surprised at in Singapore is the price of the food at restaurant in shopping malls are pretty expensive, but the price of the food at hawkers are quite low. Hawkers is the folk food restaurant area, which is like food court, like this. Anyway, I wonder if hawkers, each shop owners, can really get profit in their business, considering the generally high price of the things in Singapore. As you may know, generally the price of things in Singapore is relatively high, and especially in Southeast Asian standard. So the next two things are related to universities. I once studied in Singapore for some period of time. That's why I could experience university life for a while over there. And at that time, I knew many things about the university in Singapore. So I am going to introduce two of them now. The first thing, eight things I am surprised at in Singapore is there is a really good mental care office at the university. Maybe this is not only in Singapore, but the competition within the university seems to be extremely tough in Singapore. During exam period, all large university library is filled with students from the morning to night, which shows how tough the university student life is in Singapore. In Japan, maybe some of you might know, most of the time, it is difficult to be enrolled in the prestigious Japanese university, but it is relatively easy to graduate from them, any of them, basically. At least, I think, compared to the universities in Singapore. Okay, so the ninth thing I was surprised at in Singapore is again about the university. At the university in Singapore, the university buses are running around the campus because the campus is extremely huge. In Japan, though there are a lot of large universities, as far as I know, I have not seen any Japanese university which has a bus running around the campus within their university, picking up the student free of charge. Even if some of the universities in Japan are large, normally the students just walk and there is not much demand for them to take a bus to move around the campus. So the 10 things I am surprised at in Singapore is the town planning is great. I cannot find a dead end while walking anywhere in Singapore usually. It is like when I want a way here, there is a way. When I want a way here, there is a way there. Especially when it comes to dead ends. In other Southeast Asian countries, normally while I am walking in the cities, even in the capital cities, big cities, I quite often encounter dead ends and I waste time to go back on the same way to find out another way to go to my destination. There is such a very big difference between the town planning of Singapore and other countries in Southeast Asia. And also, I even think town planning in Singapore is much better than the one in Japan. I can move around the city quite smoothly in Singapore. That's what I found while I was living in Singapore or just staying in Singapore. Okay, that's all for the 10 things I am surprised in Singapore. Thank you so much for watching my video up until here today. See you in the next video. Bye bye.